please cast your vote with knowledge, but please cast your vote. Whoever you vote for, please just go vote on the 18th. I think then you can be proud of yourself, and then you can complain if you like.
Yes.
But if you don't vote, don't bother.
That's right. Good point. All right. Well, I'm happy to have Janet Wilkinson on the Carla Rand Show with me today. And this is a special episode, Janet, because you are running for mayor of my hometown, Edson, Alberta. And I was born here. I was raised here. I've been here basically ever since. And I love this town. And I know that a lot of people are asking me questions like, well, who should I vote for? And do you know anything about this person? Do you know anything about that person? And I was like, I don't know anything about Janet. But we were chatting before I hit record, and I found out that you knew my uncle and my aunt. And so it's like really kind of interesting. But Janet, welcome to the Carla Rand Show. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Carla. I'm really looking forward to this. I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah, well, this is good. So you're running for the mayor of Edson. And before this, you spent 2 terms, so that you said it was 8 years on the town council. So you've had quite a bit of experience kind of seeing what the town's gone through, what are the issues that the town needs to deal with. But before we kind of get into all the issues, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Janet, like where you grew up, kind of maybe what you've done through most of your life, stuff like that?
Okay, well, I'm Janet Wilkinson, and I moved to Edson 38 years ago. My youngest son was born after I lived here. I do have 3 children, but I was born in Manitoba, like quite a while ago. I won't be quite specific. I had a great childhood there. Got involved in politics really at an early age because my parents had politicians come and sleep on the couch when they were doing their little run around the area. My mom became a very strong CCF person in the day because their neighbor, who was 12 years old, died because she wasn't able to get insulin, and she was a diabetic. So that healthcare is what she wanted above and beyond everything. So that's been instilled in me that really, when you can be a voice, you have to be a voice. There's many that don't have a voice of their own, but we need to be that voice if we can be. And after Manitoba, I went to my rural Manitoba, Minnetonka's actually. I went to Winnipeg and went to Education 1A there and became a teacher. I got married, and after I got pregnant with my daughter, I quit teaching because that was sort of the common thing at that time. And my husband had a refrigeration business. So we moved back to my hometown and then later to the Paw in Manitoba. He hurt his back. So then we had been on vacation to Africa. So then we went to Africa for 3 years, and he worked at a refrigeration a company within a company, an iron ore mining company, and it rested his back up. And that was an enjoyable 3 years. It was a big adventure in my life. We came back and settled in Edmonton. And I raised the kids there and got involved in many, many volunteer activities. When I was a stay-at-home mother, I worked between 20 and 30 hours a week volunteering at different things, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Mm-hmm. After Edmonton, again, we moved to Edson. I've been involved here. I was a charter member of our Lioness Club here, a charter member of my fraternal group, the Elizabeth Trapp chapter. So I was kept busy with the kids, different activities they were in, soccer, whatever. So I have thoroughly enjoyed Edson. I've met just many, many wonderful people. And when we were here, we were involved in Edson refrigeration. So I do know sort of the business side of it. I ended up going back and upgrading myself and going back teaching, and had just a wonderful career teaching at various schools, Fulham, West Haven, ended up at West Haven as the vice principal there. And I've met just the most wonderful kids in Edson. You have 1 or 2 that maybe you wished weren't in your class, but that's about all. And even that, by the end of the year, you're happy that you've had them. So no, I've had a very, very rich, full life.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I'm a teacher too. I don't know if you knew that, but my husband and I are both teachers. Yeah.
So you know the joy of teaching then, which really is just, you can't surpass that. It is the greatest job. Yeah.
Yeah, I taught my kids like homeschooling and, taught in the schools a little bit, but I kind of started having my family right away. So I didn't really get to do a lot of that. And then I started teaching fitness and nutrition, and I loved that so much. So I'm just, I'm happy, but it's nice to kind of just hear your perspective, and being a teacher myself, I understand what that takes and what that's like. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had lots of kids, so that kept you out a little longer than me. I just had three.
Yeah, it kept me out for quite a while,
Right.
but no, it was enjoyable. So let's get into. Thank you for sharing that, Janet. It's nice just to kind of get to know you a little bit. Tell us what you think are the top 2 or 3 issues, kind of whatever number you want to pick, that kind of need to be addressed right now in Edson. What are the top 2 or 3 issues that you think, you know what, we need to do something about these?
Well, I don't think I'd have to say it often. The roads, I mean, they really are quite a mess now. Like, you can be airborne in many of the streets. So we really have to deal with that infrastructure. But when you talk infrastructure, like, there's many things involved in that, which included our wastewater treatment plant, which cost us, I think, 9.5 million. And now we have upgrades for 1.5 million. So your tax dollars only go so far on all of these things. So my second thing is fiscal responsibility. I really think we need to step up to the plate. Just the normal citizens can't take a raise in their taxes over and over and over. They're suffering through this COVID as well. I don't know what our answers would be, but I think let's put our heads together and let's cooperate, collaborate, figure out what we can do. With our new multiplex, it is a go, because we did get 20 million from the federal government, and you don't want to give that back again. But there'd be nothing wrong in having some corporate sponsorship in that, like naming rights, etc. Some businesses, I think, are doing very well, and maybe they'd be quite happy to help us out and share this responsibility to make Edson the best place it can be. It is the best town. We just have to get together and show everybody that that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I actually used to work for the town of Edson just for a summer. So I was a student. Okay. I was doing whippersnipping and picking up garbage and stuff. So I kind of got to see a little bit of the inside of that. So that was a really good thing. But I think too, Jen, I love this town. I just think there's so many incredible people. And maybe everybody says that about their town, but I just think Edson is incredible. And it is sad to kind of see, like, there's so much more I think that we could do it. And I think sometimes, like, we're sort of slacking in a way. I just feel like we have so much more to offer. There's so many people that are willing to volunteer. There's so many people that are just have good ideas, and I feel like, man, there's just a lot that we could do to make Edson even better,
I agree 100%, more than 100%.
Yeah. So those are kind of the biggest issues. Anything else you would add to that, Janet, or do you think that kind of sums up the main things that we need to be looking at?
Oh, our town equipment needs to be replaced. Like, you just need money, and we just don't have that. But we have to figure out how we do the very best with what we do have. We just have to, and show that fiscal responsibility and work ahead. Like, we can't just sit back and say, leave it till next year. No, we have to get at it and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Well said. So why this year, Janet? Why did you decide to step up as mayor this year after being on the town council?
Well, at my age, I don't want to be a career politician of sitting on council forever. I've sat for 2 years, and as I say, I think that was my apprenticeship. I mean, really, that first year, the acronyms they use and everything, you're like, wow, oh, what's this, what's that? Like, it's a real learning experience. And then, you get to feel your way in. Now I feel very comfortable in it. And I think I've served my apprenticeship. I want to be the journeyman. I would like to be the leader of the council. I'm only one voice in that, and I realize that. But I think really by spending the time of working with all the individuals on council, really cooperating, having some collaboration, building up on their strengths and my strengths, we can be a real strong force for this town. And really up at, like, tourism, to me, we're just wasting our time, not selling ourselves. There was something on Facebook today about pictures of places around Edson and how beautiful. Well, I looked at those and I thought, why don't we get like a brochure out showing everybody, come and see this? Because really, it's just a feast for the eyes to see any of these sites that we have.
Yeah, there is a lot of neat things that, like, a lot of people have no clue. They're like the Sundance Canyon area, for example, right? Yeah. Like, no, they're like, what? I don't even know about that. Like, unless you're really local, you have no clue. Or at least... No, the
Lulu's, I think they rival Drumhellers. Like, the bike park. I mean, there's just so many things, many things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, what about the COVID restrictions, Janet? I know, it's something that it's kind of hard to discuss on the municipal level, but at the same time, it's a big concern for a lot of people, especially businesses. What's sort of your take on that? What do you think we can do about that here in Edson?
Well, honestly, I have to say, really, it's the saddest day I can see where we get people all divided against each other, who's vaxxed, who isn't vaxxed. And it's really coming to that, which is very, very sad. Like in my own family, I have some that don't believe in vaccinations, some that do believe in vaccinations. And we can't just erase COVID. I wish we could, because I do not like a divided population like that. I think we could go so much further together. I do feel for the protection of older people, myself included. I'm happy when people get the vaccination, but I also see on their side where some people have such extremely strong beliefs that they do not want to be vaccinated. I just keep my fingers crossed that the Johnson & Johnson come out with that one and done dose, which is a different type of vaccination, which I'm hoping some people possibly would take that aren't willing to take the other vaccine. But I can't direct people to what they have to do. I can only direct myself for what I can do.
Yeah, what do you think the town should, how do you think the town should respond to this? I mean, I know it's hard because a lot of it is coming from the top down, but do you think there's anything that the town could do maybe to help businesses a little bit more, the ones that have been shut down over and over again? Yeah, kind of what's your take on that part of it?
Well, as far as the rules go, I mean, we really can't change that because the Alberta Health and the province override anything that we'd make a decision on. We do have an emergency management team, and like they've chosen for the fact that the town workers are working at home, that we can't use the council chambers, because I was hoping to use it for an Evergreens meeting on the 14th and we can't. So, that's disappointing, but that is their choice and that's what they're saying. And businesses, we have offered loans and then grants to try to help people get through the COVID, because we had a COVID relief fund for helping them. We still have some money left in that, which I'm glad we do, because COVID is far from over as far as I'm concerned. And I guess, like, I know you made videos of different businesses on Main Street. I have tried to go to businesses, I'm well over 100 that I've gone to in the last year, just trying to urge people to shop locally, because if we don't support our local businesses, there will be nothing to come back to after COVID. And that would be a sad day, because it's local businesses that make your town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So where would you like to see Edson in about 5 years? Let's say, Janet, 3 to 5 years, kind of what would you like maybe to have different about Edson? What would you maybe like to have the same about Edson?
Well, I hope we have the same people, because you can't replace the people that we have here, and the empathy, sympathy, everything that they have for people. Definitely, we as a council have realized it's quite a problem when you drive into Edson. It's not particularly attractive, with vacant lots. And so we are trying to updo that, wrap the poles, do different things. I think we really have to work on that visual effect as you enter Edson. And we have to also really work on the fact that it's just not a washroom break on the way to Jasper. It's an entity in itself. And people need to stop here. We have to give them a reason to stop here. Well, those electrical vehicle chargers at Boston Pizza that I saw yesterday they're going to make people stop and go to Boston Pizza. So if a corporation can think of something like that to make people pause in Edson, then we as a town need to think of things that are going to make them pause and stay in Edson and enjoy our whole countryside, our whole town. And we do need development. Like, we got the new Chrysler dealership, which is wonderful. And that's through initiatives that we gave for new businesses to begin. And we're still giving those initiatives to anybody who wants to upgrade or start a new business. And we need to attract them. And I don't think there's anything wrong in advertising in Europe, advertising in South America, anywhere. Have people come here and start. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, since I moved here 38 years ago, our population has stayed almost stagnant, and something's wrong there. We have to get more people here. And the Cascade plant has certainly brought people right now to build it, but I believe it's just 26 people when it's running. But that is a great project in the county, which helps the town. And we have to work with the county. Like, we are one and the same, I believe, really, that it's a partnership that we have to do the best we can with.
So it'd be kind of like, it would be really helpful if, the mayors and the councils in both the county and the town, like you said, could work together, because otherwise you just can't accomplish as much, right?
Right. And we have worked well together in the past. And again, everything, you can blame it on COVID, but I do have a little list in my room there of things I would do. And one of the first things is get us all together, have a meal. Like, I know taxpayers think don't spend money on a meal, but sometimes it is important. Get together, meet, discuss our futures. It will all be new for everyone the first 4 years. And in the county, they're going to have a new mayor. So we need to discuss all our strengths and work on our strengths, because everyone has different ones. So that would really be a plus, I think, to get working together.
I think you're right. Like working together and discussing things and building relationships and knowing where everybody else is at. And like you said, even though you don't want to spend money on a meal, for example, you need to have a way to bring people together. And food just is always the best way.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
I try to bring people together with fitness, but it doesn't always work as well as food, you know?
Food does. Oh, food does. That's right. And I mean, it could be simple. I could make a pot of chili, whatever. You know, that's something that would have to be decided. But I'm not saying we have to become one with the county, but I'm just saying let's build together, because we're in the same area and we really need to work in it. And it's quite fortunate, like we have a new CAO, Christine Beveridge, and they have a new CAO, Luke, out there at the county. So it sort of gives those two people fresh starts with us, and it'll give the new councils fresh starts too. And sometimes you need that, just a quick rethink of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that I, like myself, and maybe it's personalities or whatever too, but when I can just sit and discuss something with somebody, it's so much more powerful than just like texting back and forth or, you know, reading their website or whatever. It's like, I just want to have a conversation, you know?
Oh, agreed, Carla. Agreed. Like, I think this whole COVID thing, that's the worst thing, just not being able to meet with people face to face, because, things are misconstrued, you know, through text, through this, through that. When you're in person, to me, it's just so simple. So simple.
Well, there's so many things you can pick up, like just with body language and tone and so many things that you just can't get with text, you know? So
right.
So why you, Janet? Why do you think you would be a good mayor for Edson?
Well, okay, number one, experience. As I say, I've had lots of experience in many, many different fields, and I think that helps. I also know how to work with people, how to collaborate, how to cooperate, and through my experience as an administrator, I know how to administer. I can schedule, I can do all those things. So I think that that's a plus. And again, fortunately, I'm retired, so I have time, and I plan on having actually scheduled office hours where people from the community can schedule in and come meet with me and tell me their concerns. And I'd also like to have 5 minutes with council before our meetings where people can come and they can announce an upcoming event, or they can ask us some question that we can answer relatively quickly. But council needs to have a chance as well as just the mayor. We're just part of a team, and all of us need to work together. But we need to hear from people and value their input. Like, it's easy to think you know it all, but you never do. You just don't. And this is what I miss now, not door knocking. Like, I'm just putting my materials in the doors because of COVID. And I just so miss that conversation that you hear that, oh, this isn't working well, or, oh, that's really working well. Mm-hmm. And we need to listen to those things. I also, like, many of our committees, are no longer, like, we don't have a protective services committee, our FCSS, we don't have one of those, like, they just report to us. I like to get citizens involved on committees. Like, I even think tourism, like, why not get a group together that are interested in it? Just see what you can do. Like, it's easy to say, oh, we can't do it, we can't. Well, let's look what we can do. I'm a can-do person, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think you could be onto something with committees for sure, because if you get people that are passionate about one area, because there's no way that the mayor can handle all the different things going on in the town, right? But if you have committees, then they can kind of like focus on one area and actually like make some progress, make some headway, hopefully, right? Because I think you're right. Like, there's so many ideas out there and everybody has a different perspective, but it's like at the end of the day, you actually have to do something. You have to make a plan and then execute that plan, or you're never really going to change anything, right?
You aren't. And that's one thing I have committed to with Tracy from the hospital. Everyone in town complains about the thievery and the vandalism, etc. And to me, unless we get to the root of that problem, it's just going to continue, and we're going to continue to sit back and complain and, point our finger at different people and whatever, which I am so totally against. Let's help people instead of ridiculing them. And I see by the hospital where there is a whole building built there, which was supposed to be a doctor's clinic, why couldn't we have that as a drug or alcohol rehab center or a mental health one? So I think we just need citizens to get out there and get some of these things accomplished. I remember years ago when they were trying to shut our hospital down at the Hazel Switzer. You won't even remember her, but she got a bus going to Evansburg, this train whistle going, and she got our hospitals to stay here. So there's power in getting people together and deciding that we need to do something. And as far as I'm concerned, we need to do something with the people that are having problems in our community, not just pointing them out and saying how horrible things are. Like, let's do something.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. Just a few podcasts back, I interviewed a lady that is like a drug, alcohol, or addictions sort of expert.
Oh.
And so she talked a lot about that too. So I was thinking, man, like for Edson especially, there is that. I mean, any town there is that. But I'm thinking, yeah, there's got to be a better strategy. And she had some good insight into that. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, right? And I think some like rehab is really important for those kinds of people, because they're not in any position to really make good decisions in the state that they're in mostly. So nothing's going to change if you just leave them there. Like you're right. You need to do something about that. So, yeah.
Well, and rehab too, like they go for a 2-week treatment or something, and then they come back to the exact same environment.
Yeah.
Who is going to change in that time? I'm sorry, it's just not long enough. This has to be a longer term treatment center where you actually can change what their habits are, because it's just, well, I can tell you that from eating. It's easy to go on a diet and then whoop, you're right back to what you were before.
That's totally what I was thinking. Yes, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm no expert on this, but there are experts out there, and that's who we need to get to help us.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, that's good, Janet. Thank you for answering these questions. Is there anything else that you'd kind of like to say, maybe things that we haven't touched on, maybe any questions that I haven't asked you that maybe you wished I would have?
Well, we have a youth council, which our current mayor, Kevin, instituted, which was a wonderful idea. And we've had just great response to that. And again, you meet these wonderful kids in town. And I just hope the citizens of Edson realize when there's a few bad apples out there doing things, but the majority of the kids are just wonderful. And that's just one little thought I'd like them to have, to look on the bright side and see the good in people. That would be a major thing. It's very easy to find faults, and everyone has them, me for sure, but look on the good side for people, please. Yeah. And that's about it for me. Thank you.
Good. Well, thanks, Janet. Where would people go if they just want to learn more about you or just kind of find out more about your platform or whatever? Okay,
well, I'd hope that they would phone me first off at 723-4949 is my home, or my cell, 712-9875. They could go to Facebook, Janet Wilkinson, or my website, which has been up since the last election and including this one. It's at Chuck Wilkinson, all lowercase, that's my son, .wix.com/ and then elect Janet Wilkinson.
Okay.
All right. So I hope that they will come and ask me questions, please. Like I really do want to be in touch with the citizens of Edson. And please cast your vote with knowledge, but please cast your vote. Whoever you vote for, please just go vote on the 18th. I think then you can be proud of yourself, and then you can complain if you like.
Yes.
But if you don't vote, don't bother.
That's right. Good point. Good. Thanks so much, Janet, and good luck in this election.
Well, thank you very much, Carla. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the podcast today. I absolutely love that you joined us. I love being able to record these, and I love our guests. It's been so much fun. So thank you. Please like it, share it, comment, do all of the things that you feel like you want to do if you enjoyed this podcast. I really, really appreciate that. And this podcast has been brought to you by my company, Power Fitness Online. So everything that we do locally with our workouts, with our group nutrition coaching, and with all of the other fun events and stuff that we run, we put all of that online. So now you can access everything, even if you're not locally, don't live in our area. So my coaches and I and all my staff, the whole team, we are putting so much work into these workouts. We're filming 5 fresh workouts every single week so that you never have to do the same workout twice. We're also doing group nutrition and personal nutrition coaching so that you get exactly what you need. And you know what the best part is? It's the community. The absolute best part is just knowing that you have the support, that you have the encouragement, that you have everything you need to succeed. So go to powerfitnessonline.com.